Hi, my name's Richard Broom. That's me in the picture there. And I'd like to give you a very brief idea of what thinking skills is all about. You know, we all face major challenges in our lives, and some of them include very rapid rates of change and growth and increasing complexity in the world that we have to deal with. For instance, the Prudential Corporation of Australia recently said that due to the rapid rate of change and growth and increasing complexity in their business and particularly their IT environment, two skills were identified as being absolutely critical. They were to be able to learn new materials quickly and effectively and to solve problems creatively. And this is exactly the work that I've been doing for 20 years with literally tens of thousands of managers and professionals and students. And what it's all about is how to learn new material quickly and effectively and how to solve problems more creatively. So you'll find this online course will help you if you're doing any kind of study, any kind of thinking, any kind of brainstorming, any kind of meetings. If you're aiming at an MBA or a PhD or a professional qualification or a medical qualification, I can save you a fortune of time. In addition, I'm going to show you basically how to see the big picture. This course has a wonderful impact on morale. It helps you to shift your mindset. It's based on recent brain research. It helps you to build exceptionally useful skills, like I'll show you how to, as I said, learn new material quickly and effectively and how to solve problems more creatively. I'll show you how to remember names. I'll show you how to concentrate, how to keep meetings focused, lots of things, how to make better presentations, very useful skill, how to generate ideas, how to solve problems, how to read faster, how to handle masses of information. So a book like this, The Brain That Changes Itself, one should be able to, I'll show you how to essentially gut this book so that you've got the gist of it in an hour. Now you don't believe me because there's some 399 pages here, but with the right techniques you can nail this, as I say, in an hour. That would be a useful skill. So let me show you a little bit about what I think we should handle in this wonderful thinking skills session, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to give you an example of a mind map, so don't let this throw you. So I'm going to start right in the center here with a little drawing of a brain, and being a friendly little guy, make it smiling, and so there. We'll kick the session off with some testing. This is not a frightening thing, but basically we need some benchmarking. We'd like to check you out on your thought organization skills. We'll check you out on your idea generation, your fluency in creating new ideas. We'll check your study speed. We'll have a look at your memory, just for fun. And I'm going to test you in two ways on your memory. We'll have a look at how to remember a list of information, and so memory for lists, which I'll represent as a little picture there, and also your memory for people's names. This is a fantastically useful skill. So that we'll accomplish in the first module, basically. Then we're going to get to talk about the problems that we all have using the brain. And that will lead us to an idea which I'm going to call Great Truth Number One, which will unfold later in the session. Great Truth Number One basically is that the world is as I am, and there's research to support this idea. Then we'll go on and have a look at Great Truth Number Two, and you'll come across an idea that looks a bit like this, that the brain is, well, let's say our thinking, it's a thinking model, is organized in a hierarchy ranging from concrete at the one level to abstract at another, and we'll see the need for balance between concrete and abstract thinking modes rather, in order to be more creative with our problem solving. Then we're going to have a look at what I'll call, rather than one of the modules will be not brain research but brain info, how the ideas that we have about particularly this left, right, brain idea flowing out of the work of people like Roger Sperry and Michael Gazzaniga and others, basically that the brain is designed for balance between left and right, and to the extent that we can find that balance, we get some truly astonishing improvements in performance, and we'll call that great truth number 2, that the brain is designed for balance. And also we're going to see an echo of that idea in the relationship between concrete and abstract thinking. Then one of our modules will be how to process data, so I'll call this data processing, and here we'll introduce you to great truth number 3, and that is that data has hooks. So you'll come across a little model basically that is a very powerful way of understanding how we relate to information, and we can use this for all forms of learning. One of these hooks will be a tool or a technique called dumping or brain dumps, and I'm going to put a box around that because it's a concrete, specific skill, a learnable skill, and has fantastic value when it comes to problem solving, when it comes to strategic planning sessions, when it comes to planning just about anything. Also, it has a review device when it comes to memorizing new material. Dumping has no peer when it comes to how to remember how to work out quickly what it is that you know and what you have forgotten. Also, in this context, we'll be talking about the whole area of noting, and we'll introduce you to a fabulous technique which you've probably heard about before, called mind mapping. So noting and mind mapping. I'm going to put a box around mind mapping also because it's a specific skill, and you'll find mind mapping totally invaluable when it comes to study. It's a fabulous tool when it comes to keeping track of meetings. It's I don't know how anybody can cope with that without this kind of a tool for thinking through things, thinking into things. It's a very, very powerful tool. Now what we're going to do is we're also going to have a check. We're going to look at your reading skills, and we have a module which I'm going to call turbo reading, for obvious reasons, turbo reading. And the objective with turbo reading is to have a reading speed at least 3 times to 10 times faster with the same or better comprehension. So let's put a box on that as well. It's an important skill, and it's a measurable skill. Then we're going to have to look at your memory as a stepping stone. These are all stepping stones to study technique and so forth. So memory, we'll have a look at memory, and we'll divide memory into 2 branches. We'll call it long and short. Actually, we won't use these terminologies during the course itself, but basically we're after what happens in the first place when you, in terms of short memory, what is it in the meeting or the study guide or the book that you're working on or the presentation that you're listening to, what is it that's likely to make it into your brain, and having gotten there, what is it that's going to actually stick in terms of long-term memory. So we're going to be looking at another great truth here, great truth number 4, which is that repetition is mother of memory. So these are all some of the building blocks. Now once we've got these things in place, some skills in turbo reading, some skills in memory long and short, also we're going to look at mnemonics. When we've got some mnemonic skills, particularly in terms of, and I'll make a quick link to names and faces and lists, so names and lists, and I'll direct you to other systems on the internet. Once we've got all these things in place, turbo reading, long and short term memory, mnemonics, mind mapping, dumping, and so, now we've got the grounds, basically the sort of development point from which we can actually start to take what I'm going to represent here as a major strategy compendium called power learning. Power learning. Power learning is a fantastic skill. It's basically a set of strategies which will allow you to, as I say, gut a 350-page, 400-page textbook in an hour. So let's put here that the goal here for power learning, basically our objective is to have a 10 to 30 times increase in your speed with the same or better comprehension, and usually we find an increase in comprehension as well. Then we also need to, and we'll do that as a practical case history during the workshop itself. We also need to have a look at your stress levels, and so there is going to be a lifestyle component in the thing. So we'll look at stress, what I call the pyramid of from stress to mastery. So I'll just title that Mastery. And we'll look at the 6 happiness habits of Richard Koch, and we'll have a very good look at the relationship between concrete and abstract thinking as applied to exercise, diet, the relevance of meditation. Where do all these things fit? The whole process, by the way, is a lot of fun, really a lot of fun. Online or live, we'll be using case histories and anecdotes and stories and stuff like that. And then another module that we're going to weave throughout the thing is, and I don't know quite how we're going to do this in your particular case, but we're going to actually weave in a module on creativity. That's a little paperclip there, and the reason I'm using that symbol of a paperclip will become obvious when we look at great truth number 5, which is that to solve problems we need to think outside of the box. So your major takeout, I would say, from this workshop will be, from the series, this e-learning series, will be the ability to gut a major book. I'm talking about a typical study book, a textbook, a medical textbook. If you're preparing for a closed book exam, these strategies will get you to the point that you can actually have like an encyclopedic memory. If you're preparing for an open book exam, in some senses it's easier, in some senses it's harder, but you end up with a set of mind maps, a very powerful technology, this mind mapping technology for gathering information and keeping everything together. So basically I invite you to join me for this road to greater fulfillment, and I wish you lots of luck.